And once again, we're here and we're live. How are you, Mike?
I'm frozen. I've been outside in my driveway trying to make it. I still don't know if I can get a car through it, but way closer than I could. And yeah, my hands are. I'm good. Of course, I had a meeting with my wound doctor this today, and
Really?
they called me and said, "Did I want to make it?" And I go, "According to the way my driveway looks, I don't think I can make it." And I said, let's just cancel it. So they moved it to 2 days from now, which is supposed to snow again tonight or whatever. So I said, well, 2 days from now. And then I called back and I said, well, my friend's coming here to do my driveway. So if you need me there, they said, can you be here earlier? And I said, well, they said, well, we're all trying to get out of here. I said, have people been canceling today? She goes, oh, yeah. Yeah, like birds falling out of the sky. Yeah, she goes. I go, okay, I'll see you in 2 days. And so I don't know. I guess my MRI and different things. I guess they're not real serious, or they would have really wanted me in there today or Friday. I mean, the doctor didn't. He didn't see me Friday. He was supposed to, but he didn't. And then again today. So I guess I'm not too bad a shape. I don't know.
You're doing a great job. I told you that from the beginning. You're doing a great job.
Yeah. It's I guess. No, well, I'm doing as good as I could expect. I just prayed that I was going to come home with my leg, and I still have my leg, and as of now, and it was kind of cool because they sent my blood work, the paper to you,
Okay.
And it shows little things that this should be a little better, this or this. Right. And at the top of it, though, it said some kind of sentence about something about if there's anything really wrong, we would let you know.
Right.
I mean, it was some sentence basically saying, here's your blood work. Yeah, this and this could improve a little, but it's okay. So,
good.
So that's good with me.
Definitely.
When I worked at Silver Dollar City Christmas before last, people I worked for got me a $25 certificate for like a Longhorn or something like that, but I lost it, and I found it last night. So, hey, yeah. So it's a good day.
Definitely sounds like it.
And yeah, I was and I was reading up earlier on the AirPod thing, why they weren't working with the StreamYard thing, and
sure,
it told some stuff. I went in there and I thought they were going to work, but I'm like, why mess with it? This is fine.
Good.
I don't need to join. Do I need to join that?
No. Use mine. It's all free.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You don't need to do that. Yes.
Well, it did say something about whenever you sign on as your AirPods would be your thing. Did you disengage the computer mic? So maybe there's something where they were pretty cool though. They had stuff on there, hey, just write it, send us a question, we'll get everything happening. So it's okay. I use my AirPods late at night to listen to music and stuff until I fall asleep, and or right before I fall asleep, I take them out of my ear.
What do you listen to these days?
Do what?
What music are you listening to?
Oh, that's right. We talk about music, don't we?
Yes, definitely.
You know what I was doing last night? I was watching a lot of the guys that I know that do the cigar box guitar stuff.
Okay.
They're really good guys. One guy down in Atlanta, and I was watching 2 tutorials on YouTube about playing slide guitar on these things.
Right.
I can do it, but I'm kind of makeshifting it. So I want to if I see things these guys do and I can copy that, and then I'm getting that routine down. And they'll tell you just, here's a way to do it. And there's little things they'll tell you, like if like let's say a slide, let's say use on that finger. On the neck, these 2 fingers that are before it, have them rest on the strings.
Right.
And it keeps it from buzzing and ringing.
Right.
So little things. I was watching that. I was watching. If I was just watching music, I would have been up all night. But I'm trying to learn something. Learning's like me trying to read a book. It's like makes me go to sleep. But hey, I went to Crane High School. We didn't read and do lessons there. So hey,
not a bit.
my hat's all crooked.
Well, did you hear that the game is until this Thursday? It's supposed to be when the homecoming game is this Thursday.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
I still don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just telling you that's the knowledge I have.
And there's not going to be anybody get a hold of me anyway.
Right.
It really disappoints me about old friends. I mean, I'm not that way. Man, I'd be on the phone calling if they came to my town. I'd be calling 10 times. Man, wait, I'll meet you somewhere. Let's go. But it's doesn't matter. They're all busy, I guess. So it's
right. So let's talk about that 1974-75 team. Tell me about that.
It was a team that it was a good team. We had a lot of talented people,
right?
And we were all good friends. And it's one of those cases where a lot of us had played together all the way up through school. Junior high and everything. Mm-hmm. And I know we had a good team because other schools we'd play at hated us. They'd yell bad stuff from the stand. Back in those days, you couldn't have facial hair if you went to at Crane. You could have facial hair, so I had this big mustache. Big mustache, and other schools wouldn't let you. And I swear, I'd hear people in the crowds yelling, "Kill the guy with the mustache! Kick it down!" They hated me because I had. Well, I was a decent player too. We had some good players. And
what position were you?
In basketball, well, I actually played guard, forward, or center. Now,
really?
It's not like we had huge, tall people. I think the guys that played center were like maybe 1 inch taller than me. So I was just kind of unique because I could play any position, really, mainly a forward. We would play in Reed Springs, and there was a guy, I think I seen him running for some seat down there. Smythe was his last name. Okay. And he was a great big guy. And I remember Coach Conrad put me in to guard him, and he was the center. And I had to, my deal was, and to do that, you try to keep the people from getting the ball. So it's called front them. You get in front of them, stick your rear end into them, and keep pushing back on them.
Yes.
This guy got mad at me. I was doing my job. He got mad and grabbed me around the waist and threw me on the ground. And of course, I got some free throw shots out of it, but I was like, gee whiz, man, this guy's mad. But yeah, and I was a pretty good shooter. And Jim Willman was from Galena, but he went to Crane. And his brother Leroy.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Leroy, he wore the high-heeled shoes, and he was right out of New York City, man. He was, I think he had a gold tooth, and he'd always come to practice and try to help out with Coach Conrad and everything, And he'd tell all of us on the team what to do and this and that. And it was a fun team. I mean, we had a lot of guys, me, Jim Willen, Bobby Eaton, Marty Lauer was a guard, Jimmy Hilton was a guard, real good guard. Steve Burcham. Everybody were pretty good shooter. Me and Jim Willman, we were kind of your forwards, outside shooting guys. And then Jimmy Hilton, he was really good at working the ball. And Bobby was good. We just had it was kind of an all around team, and it was a lot of fun. I told you at one tournament at Galena, before we came out, we all put our stocking caps on, which we called them cock saps, not stocking caps, cock saps. We had to turn around. Right. Coach Conrad, we're getting ready to go warm up for the first place game. And Coach Conrad's like, "What are you guys doing?" We go, "We got our cock saps on." We headed out. It was like Fat Albert. We were on the court with stocking caps pulled away with balls on top of them. And And that's probably why some of the other schools didn't like us, because
Right.
we had a lot of character. So
Personnel. Yes.
it was funny too, because the league tournament was one thing that we won that was huge.
Right.
It hadn't been done forever. So Coach Conrad was like, well, I got to order your patch for your letter jacket,
Right.
And he showed us, he says, they got patches like this.
Small patches. Yes,
We got the one that took up the whole chest, man. It was like, we want the big one because we don't know if we're going to win anything else. So that's what we had. And it was good. Back in the days, do they even have letter jackets anymore? I don't even know.
They did when I was at school. I don't know about now, but they did when I was at school. Yes.
Yeah, maybe they always have, but it was fun, but it was little town. Like I said, we'd take halftime, we go in the dressing room. I'd head back out to the stage to play trumpet in the jazz band. Coach Conrad said, "Get your butt back in here as soon as you play them songs. Get in there." And
what kind of songs did you play in jazz band?
Oh man, I actually, to be Crane in a little school.
Right.
I don't remember what the songs were, but they were almost kind of like Maynard Ferguson type stuff. I mean, and I played first chair trumpet too, so it was like I had real good parts, and they were fun to play. I remember, to be a little school, they weren't some little goofball songs. I mean, they were good.
Right.
And then and then I went to SMS. Back in those days, it was SMS. But when I went there, I signed up for the band.
Sure.
Well, I went to Crane, where I played first chair trumpet, and there was maybe 4 other trumpet players in the band, maybe 4 or 5.
Right.
Man, I went to the first day of rehearsal at Southwest Missouri State. We had something like 45 trumpets, and we put our horns up to play. It was just so loud and everything. You couldn't tell if you were playing it or not. And I was like, now this isn't fair. I came from a little town. I've never been involved in something like this. This is, but we did the marching band thing, and it was small town. I wouldn't have traded it for anything. It was,
that's the way to do it. Clearly, that's the way.
Class. Like I said, I was the president of my class 4 years, so I knew how to get the keys to the concession stand. I'd go to my class. I'd tell the teacher. Our English teacher we had then, her name was Goodall, right. and I'd say, "You don't want to have class today." Yes, Michael, we got to have class. We didn't have class yesterday because you had me put Kiss makeup on you because you never had makeup on. She goes, "You were just trying to get us all out of class." And I go, "Yeah, but you did a good job." So I said, "How about today? I've got the keys to the concession stand. We can all lock ourselves in there, and there's candy bars and soda pop." She goes, "Let's go. Everybody follow me down the hallway. Just be quiet. Let's go down there." So, yeah, it was, man, it wasn't like school. It was pretty fun, small town. And, we were, basketball practice was last period every day. It would start. Right. And Coach Conrad, though, he would get upset, and we'd have to run sprints, back and forth running if we didn't practice good. I told him one time, I said, "Why don't you cut out the sprint thing? Because, we're practicing and we're trying to practice hard, but it's in our head, oh my gosh, if we don't do very good, we're going to have to run sprints."
Right.
If we just knew, do the best you can, and you're not going to have to run, we would have probably done better. Right. It was good. It was good times. And, yeah, it was at all the games, all the younger kids, they loved the team. It was a good team. And then I know, it's kind of like ever since those days, and then I know recently, well, I don't know, in the last 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever years, right, the teams have been really good there.
Yes, really good. Yes.
Really good. Now, I did some cool stuff. Used to Tootie Parsons Memorial Stadium,
right,
baseball field. In the old days, it had fences around the outside edge where they would have advertisement on it. I mean, it's like old school, and they were way out there. They were like 300 foot. I mean, they were out there, and nobody ever hit a home run. I'm the only one I ever knew hit a home run out of the park. I hit it off a guy from Blue Eye named Jim Canup, K-N-U-P.
Okay.
I got the ball. Somebody went out there and went over to went on the other side of the fence and found the ball. I couldn't believe I did it. It was like in left center. It was a long, yeah. But I was in good shape then. I used a size 44 bat, and it was
wow.
I had people like Danny Mounts. I had some big guys on the team.
Right.
And we lost the game, and we had to run laps around the whole field.
Well,
telling Coach Conrad, this isn't right. I hit this out of the park. This ball right there, and now I'm having to run laps.
So was Freddie Huff around then? Did he come to practices then? Freddie Huff?
That wasn't during my time, so I don't know. That was probably before me.
Well,
I don't know.
Freddie came. Well, he was around before you, but he came back when I was in school, and I thought he was such a cool guy and loved to tell you every story. And he was a good ball player, and I really wondered if you knew him too.
We had a real good baseball team.
Yes.
I played third base. Jimmy Hilton was a shortstop. He was very good. I forget we played second, but I know we played back in those days against the Stockstill from Hurley, which went on to play minor
really
league
good ball players.
Very good, very good. And and they were very good. And that's gone. And they were. I remember one of them was on third base. The game was tied. It was some important game, and Coach Conrad called a timeout, and he told me as soon as the ball left the pitcher's hand, he wanted me charging home plate because he was positive they were doing the squeeze thing, bunting and getting the run in there to win the game or to tie the game. So I said, okay. Boy, as soon as the pitcher reared back, I charged the batter, and he swung full force, and the ball hit me right in the chest and knocked me over. And I think we got the guy out, but I forget exactly what the outcome was. But if I didn't do some as close as I could chewing Coach Conrad out about, I can't believe it. Run up there, he didn't bunt, man. And but in those days it was so cool because we'd go to other towns to play, and we drove our cars,
Right.
Okay, Reed, you want to take a car? Hilton, you want to take who else taking their car to tomorrow? Okay. And we'd all just pile in our cars and drive to the other town. All the other schools were taking their school bus around. We just drove our cars, And it was up. And we had some good players. Gary Springer was a player he was a pitcher. And when you warmed up, you pick different guys to warm up before the game. Man, I did not like to play catch with him because he just warming up through the ball so hard. Him and Jim Woolman. Jim Woolman was just all around everything player, but it was school. I'd love to went to the homecoming. I'd love to see the school and see the people, but yeah, it's probably going to be all snowy again.
At this time, that's probably not going to make sense. But again, watching these people that are actually watching and enjoying the show, it's so fun to watch this thing grow. And so if anybody needs to, share the broadcast now, because I love this. I love how seeing it increase. That's so cool.
Well, we do it all about music because Lord knows I have tons of music things to talk about. I sent you an email today. I love the little thing that you wrote up.
Yes.
That's super. That's you can tell the guy that was the attorney wrote that instead of the guy that was running around playing around the country wrote it. Okay. Sound really good. No, it's all about a music thing, but it's kind of like the people that are going to be involved in something that you're trying to do. It's good to get to know them, their personality.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've definitely proven myself on here that I'm not just a boring person. I mean, I'm a fun personality. And if I've got 2 bus loads of people from Iowa and Nebraska, my crowd, I'm going to entertain them. They're all going to have a blast.
And
because
that's
I'll go out there.
That's the whole goal.
Yeah. I'll go out and sit on grandma's lap. It's and I did that at my little thing I did the other night. You have to do this when you're when you're on a stage. You have to be able to read your crowd.
Okay. How so?
You have to pick people that you can kind of pick on. I mean, personality, you don't want to say the wrong thing to the wrong people. You have to know
Right.
that's part of the entertainment. You pick out one person, two, three, whatever. Those are the people you're going back and forth with all night that makes it more fun. I
Right.
mean, like I said one time, doing wedding receptions, I used to, if I seen 4 or 5 older ladies at a table and they had a couple, a lot of them's husbands were gone, but some of them were still alive, and they were sitting there at the table. I'd take the microphone and I'd go out and I'd say, ladies and gentlemen, we have the table of the hot ladies, the good looking ladies right here. And I go, wait a minute, time out. What are these 2 old ugly guys doing sitting here at your table? Can you all not find better looking guys than this?
Right.
Well, most people would be like, oh, don't say something like that. No, they probably left that wedding, saying, oh my gosh, whenever he was saying grandpa was ugly old guy, oh, grandpa was laughing, and we had fun. But as an entertainer, always read your crowd,
Oh, yeah.
And somebody told me once upon a time, I was back in the country days when I was doing country stuff, and Scoot and Boogie had came out. So you had to play it about 5-6 times every night, You just play it. Somebody like, can you do some Scoot and Boogie? Well, we just did it. Can you do it again? Guess what? You know what? You did it again because they were happy, and their friends were happy, and the club owner was happy, and you got a raise the next time you came in. So it's real easy in the entertainment business. Just give the people what they want instead of what you think they want.
Right.
Just give them what they want, and I learned a lot of stuff. I used to do fair showcases with a company out of Kansas City, Drake Jackson. Dave Jackson was, I'm sure he's probably gone now, but he'd say, when you boys at that fair showcase step off that bus, I want you all looking sharp. You don't have to have matching country suits. But he says, that little town down the way, because like Missouri, their fair showcase was in Columbia, and all the fair buyers are there. And they go, and we would meet people. Oh, this is Herb. He owns a True Value hardware store, and this is Bill. He owns a gas station. And they're interested in hiring you boys at the fair this year.
Right.
You hadn't even played. They just saw you look nice.
You look the part.
And like Mr. Jackson would tell us, you're going to step off that bus at their fair, and they're going to nudge each other and go, see, there they are. I told you, wait till you see these guys. And we did a lot of fairs and things like that. And I learned so much from, I learned a lot from those guys, and I wasn't ever afraid to learn. I mean, I think learn all you can from other people. You don't go through it going, I know it all. No, because
this actually brings it back to Coach Conrad, because Coach Conrad was very big on step off the bus like a team and looking good and looking sharp. Every game he talked about that.
Coach Conrad, he really was. I mean, and I told you, we had Mr. Butterfield that was a business teacher.
Right.
But he has all those Clydesdale horses and stuff like that. And then we had Gary Deffenbaugh, who was our assistant coach. I mean, we had half the faculty on the bus with us. Mr. Butterfield bring his guitar. I mean, if we had to go somewhere an hour, he'd play and we'd sing songs all the way there. But when we got off that bus, the coaches, the 3 main guys, they would get off, and we followed them, and they wanted us to look. We didn't have to wear suits and ties, but they wanted us to look nice. And they were very into. You showed up at that town. There wasn't no jacking around. I mean, you come in and you walk.
Yes.
Coach Conrad was that way, and now, like after you got there and you come out with the stocking caps on, that was beyond. You couldn't control that. That just happened, and but he would just laugh at us, and he was a good coach. We played in I think it was Purdy or somewhere one time. They had a brand new gymnasium.
Okay.
I think our first game at it. I think, and it was a game. We had a really good team that year. We hadn't lost maybe a couple games at the most or something. And this was one on our schedule that you'd look at and you go, well, that's definitely a win. You know, there was no way that was a loss. And this was, you always hear things about referees and all. I swear,
The referees at Purdy are always bad. Let me just say that.
me and 4 or 5 other guys already had 4 fouls, and you can only get 5, you know, and you're out of the
Right.
game. At halftime, we already had 4, bunch of like 4 or 5 of us, and they were doing stuff like, I had a guy during the come up to me, and he stepped on top of my tennis shoes and then pushed me over, so my foot was stuck. And you know, we called timeout, and we went in at halftime, and they were kicking our rear, and this just wasn't supposed to happen at all.
Right.
And Coach Conrad was so cool. He says, if you guys want to, I'll go out there right now. I'll walk up there, because he said, this is ridiculous. It's yeah, we were the top team that came in. He said, if you want me to go out, I'll tell the referees and everybody, we forfeit the game. We're going home. It's not worth it. And he said, we'll walk out the bus and leave at halftime.
Right.
We said we wouldn't do him that way. We said, nope, we're going to go out and finish the game. We may get beat by 30 points, but we're going to finish the game. Oh, my gosh. But, you know, back in those days, we'd play at some other town, and we'd win, and people would get mad, and they would chase the school bus and yell and throw like eggs and stuff at the school bus. I mean, back in those days, all these little towns that played
High
each other.
school basketball is big stuff.
Oh, it was big stuff. And it really was. And
Purdy and Wheaton and all those places, man. It's always
Southwest, Blue Eye,
right.
Galena, Hurley. We played in Hurley one night, and there was like 2 bats flying around in the gymnasium, and they come swooping down at you. We were telling Coach Conrad, this is bull. We don't need to be playing. And he said, oh, they'll go away. And like I told you, back in those days, it was so funny because you had about 8 teams in your conference, you know,
Right.
Clever, Billings, all these teams. And so all the ball players, all of us guys from Crane, we were always checking out all the cheerleaders from and then our cheerleaders would get mad because we were looking at the other cheerleaders. And so I think half of us dated cheerleaders from another town. But it was,
Who were the cheerleaders at that time?
do what?
Who were the cheerleaders at Crane at that time?
See, Terry Revis was one. Paula Moreland, maybe. Jennifer Steele. I can't really remember.
Right.
Now let me tell you, Clever had some nice. And no, it was. But all the guys from other schools were hitting on our cheerleaders
Right,
too.
exactly. That's how it worked. That's how it worked. Every
It
time.
was how it worked, and it was small town school. As I told you, when Mr. Gentry was our superintendent,
Right.
he'd be, now you guys got an important game tonight. Get the rest of the guys together. You guys drive down to Dairy Lane, go down there and eat. Now,
Or Jane
Dinner-
and Ed, definitely.
stay there
Jane and Ed.
and eat as long as you want, but then get back up here. And everybody else in the school would be, how come they got to go to the Dairy Lane?
Yes.
Well, they're the ball team. And whatever Mr. Gentry says, you do it.
Well, that's right. Because that guy could shake your hand like nobody's business. All
Yeah,
day
we
long.
talked about that on here one time. He
Right.
did. The guy milked cows his whole life, and he would just he would have made a kind of like a good Burl Ives Christmas type guy. He just
Sure,
kind of
yeah.
a low bald headed guy and good shape, and he'd be like something. Shake my hand. You learned? No. Oh, come on, take my hand. And he was pretty old, and he
Right.
took your hand, and you would go down to. He'd squeeze
To
it until
the
you got
ground.
down,
To
you
the
got down
ground.
on your knees. And yeah, small town. There were very few teachers or anything that we disliked. I mean, it was. It was small town, the old school. That's when the school burnt down that summer, right after we graduated. And so I don't know. We did our prom at our school when I was a junior, and we decorated the whole thing, and it was beautiful. It was awesome.
Right.
little towns did some kids that are growing up now, man, they missed out on what it was
Right,
like.
exactly, man.
That is crazy. But it's also Deep Deep Rubber every day from 4 to 4:30, and it's time once again to say goodbye.
Well, goodbye.